Well, we have to talk about what's going on with our inventory. You know, record high numbers since the pandemic began. That's where we're sitting at right now. You know, in our local area, Sarasota and Manatee County, we just got our monthly market update and we're almost 7,000 listings. We haven't seen that in a long time. And what does that mean for you? Well, it depends if you're a seller or buyer, but you know this, there's not that many buyers out there. There's quite a bit of sellers. More and more sellers are hitting the market because they know that there might be something happening just around the corner. We have tons of people with hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity, literally hundreds of thousands of dollars. Even if they bought just 3 years ago, they still are sitting on $100,000 to $200,000 in equity. Even if it's dropped 10–15%, they're still sitting on it. And when they come back during season, which our season is right after Thanksgiving, all the way to the end of April. In fact, most of Florida's season is like this. When these people come back, they might just say, dang, my property taxes went up, my insurance premiums went through the roof, and I do mean through the roof, and now I'm still sitting on a lot of profit. Maybe it's time to cash out. Maybe it's time to sell and move on and just say, I'm cutting my losses, which are just profits. They're actually not losses at all. There's an opportunity cost with the money that they have, and it's just sitting as equity. And whenever you have equity sitting, you know, most investors say you should use that money, that you should somehow leverage that money so that you can get a positive return on it. And the worst thing is that we still don't know what's going to happen with our insurance. You know, we're going through a big turmoil. There's a lot of big changes happening. So let's just touch on that for a moment. Not only have we had tons of insurance carriers leave the state, but now the existing ones that are left, they're going to do one of three things. One is they're going to renew you, and they're going to significantly increase your premiums. And I mean a lot. We've already seen some people get 50%, 100%. I even know of 2 cases where it's over 200% increase in people's premiums. That's per year. You know, when you're going from $3,000 insurance to $6,000, that makes a significant impact. And usually people's income didn't double at the same time as their insurance doubled. So that's one of the things that can happen. The second thing that can happen is that they can just not renew you. And that's what's happening quite a bit as well. There's plenty of people who are not getting renewed on their insurance premium. So they'd even be willing to pay 50% more. But unfortunately, they're getting a notice of non-renewal, which means we're not interested in doing business with you, homeowner. And that's that. Now, the third option, which is actually a reality for many, many homeowners that happen, is that these companies are actually just getting out of the state. They're not just not renewing you. They're placing you with a different company. They're sending you a letter of non-renewal, and then they're saying, we out. We are not sticking around Florida. Now, I think that most of those companies that were gonna leave have already left. But just a couple of months ago, we had a couple companies leave again. So I thought it was done, but apparently not. There's still some more companies that can leave the state. All while Citizens, who's the insurer of last resort in Florida, has taken on, you know, 400% more policies than they had in 2018. And now they're going through this depopulation program, which basically means that they are getting out of carrying this many policies. They're tired of it too. They're saying that there's too many eggs in one basket right now. And that is the basket of Citizens insurance. They're carrying way too many homeowners policies. So if you're one of the owners that is coming back to Florida for the season, you know, you're probably gonna list. There's a lot of people who are gonna list. Not everyone, but nothing is looking like it's in their favor. So where's the bright side in all this? And believe it or not, there is a bright side. If you're a buyer, you have a bright side. You're gonna have a lot more homes to pick from. And then you're probably going to have more negotiation power, because one of the things that's also happening is that the buyers out there, 33% of them right now, and this is nationwide, but also specifically Florida-wide, they're buying new construction. So there's going to be a lot more resales going up for sale, but the new construction is going to start dwindling down. And the reason is because they can't build as fast as what I believe is going to happen is people going to be hitting the market, right? People are going to be going and listing their properties, and these are just going to be regular people that already own the home. What the new construction can't do is they can't build any faster than they're already building. So this is starting to feel a lot like 2007. In January 2007, go talk to real estate agents in Florida. What did they go through? And you know what that was? They went through, where are all the buyers? That's what I think is going to happen. Where are all the buyers? They didn't come back because usually we have tourism, and the tourism brings, lots of people come in to visit the area, some of which might be interested in buying. And the last few years, most of them purchased, and a lot of them are cash buyers. So they're not dependent on the interest rates going up and down. And yeah, there's still cash buyers out there, don't get me wrong. There's quite a bit of homes being sold to cash buyers, and they have the most negotiation with everybody. They get to actually, do what the seller concession video that I recently did showed, is that they're getting the closing costs paid for, or they're getting a major price reduction, or a major upgrade, or a new roof, or something along those lines. Those cash buyers have the leverage because their closing is not dependent on the interest rates, many times not even an appraisal. A lot of them waive the appraisal contingency completely by not including it as a separate addendum. In my opinion, those are just bad agents or people making decisions that they shouldn't put themselves into making. But I do think we're going to have some cash buyers return. They're just going to be more aggressive on the purchase price. They're going to be more aggressive on the concessions, and they're going to be more aggressive when it comes to how much time they're going to take to find that perfect property. Because 2 years ago, it was just look at a house, offer on the house, lose the bidding war. Look at a house, offer on the house, lose the bidding war, over and over and over. And quite a few of these people did get discouraged, but they weren't the cash buyers. The cash buyers ended up winning all of those multiple offer scenarios. The people who really got discouraged were the FHA buyers, the VA loans, the USDA loans, quite a bit of people who were using, kind of alternate financing programs, not Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac conventional loans. And they got discouraged because no one was even looking at their offers. They were just looking at who has the cash, who can close quickest, who's willing to waive as many inspection contingencies and other contingencies as they can. Now, where else are we going to have some good news? Well, it's quite possible that the Fed might lower some rates. And recently we did have interest rates fall just slightly. And that did actually get some more sales happening, at least in our local area. We did have quite a few new mortgage applications come out, and then we had a whole bunch of sales that came out of it. I think last month we had 1,600 sales. The month before, we were at under 1,500. So there was a big increase there. But I do think that increase is temporary. Unfortunately, I think we're going to have some more blood in the streets. But it's not necessarily going to be 2007 and 8 blood. It's just going to be a little bit of bleeding, What we had before and during the Great Recession, it was quite significant. And I just don't think we're there. I don't think we're going to be there. The only thing that I think can make that happen even worse is if we end up having some sort of World War III or something. And at this point, it's not looking like we're going to have anything of that nature, which is great news because nobody wins in those kinds of situations. Another thing that homeowners are experiencing in Florida are tax increases. And these aren't the people who live full-time in Florida. These are people who have a second home in Florida and investment property. And let me tell you, as someone who does have investment property, I'm definitely seeing this right now. I'm seeing quite a bit of major increases in my tax rate for my rentals. Now, my homestead is protected to, not be able to increase by a certain percentage point. But all my investment property is going through a major increase, not just in the insurance rates like I mentioned, but property taxes. I am seeing an increase every single year, and it's going up quite a bit. Now, thankfully, we did have rents increase, But I know that rents are going to be decreasing pretty soon, and they already have started just slightly. So I can't rely on rent increases to cover the cost of the real estate taxes and the real estate insurance going up. Which brings me to my last point I kind of want to talk about and touch on are the rentals, the investors, the people who are out there trying to, make a buck by risking many bucks, and they're trying to make a buck here. So they're buying investment property. And look, if you're thinking about buying an Airbnb, there might be some opportunity there, but you really have to acquire it at the right price. And you have to have it in the right area, because there's a lot of areas that will just not allow Airbnbs. Any kind of homeowners association, they're not going to allow it. Any kind of condo association, they're not going to allow it. The only options you really have are beachfront, because they're zoned and their regulations are such that they will allow short-term rentals. But if you got a house and you want to do a short-term rental, let me give you a suggestion. Do a medium-term rental. Do a 3-month, 6-month rental. There's a lot of traveling nurses, there's traveling doctors, there's all types of situations that have a demand for this kind of housing, and this might be a much better opportunity because you still get some premium, you still get a little bit more money than you would on the annual rental. But let's get back to our investors, because there's going to be a lot of investors selling as well. Just like the situation that I explained, where there are homeowners who have a second home in Florida, insurance went up, taxes went up, and their holding costs stay the same when it comes to their mortgage. But that's it. Everything else went up. So those people are going to be listed. So there's going to be a lot of those people listing because they're sitting on, $100,000 or $200,000 in equity. And this equity is actually going down because the value is going down of these properties. But the same position is going to be for the investors as well, where they bought, in 2019, 18, 17, 16, and knowing that rents are going to be lower in the next 2-3 years coming, then it's time to cash out. Because they also have to look at the opportunity cost. What is it that they could do? If they pulled out this money, let's just say $100,000 for example. They pulled out this money, they sold the property, they paid their taxes, and now they're sitting on 100. What can they do with it? And being that the stock market is rallying pretty well, being that we have a lot of investment opportunities because money has tightened up, or even if you want to play it safe and be a hard money lender and get 12% on your money, that is an option. And right now they have their money tied up in a rental. So save this video, because I'm telling you right now, our inventory is going to go through the roof. It's going to go up. We're going to have prices eventually come down. And the only savior to all of this is a booming economy or interest rates going down. And a booming economy is definitely going to make a big change, but interest rates going down is going to be a temporary change. It's going to get all the people sitting on the sidelines to go and do something. But how long are they going to go and do something for? Once they buy, they're done. Let's just say interest rates go down to 4%. People are going to refi, people are going to go and buy, people are going to sell, and then we're going to have a whole bunch of inventory, but definitely not as many buyers as we used to. Guys, subscribe to this channel. I do a lot of videos trying to teach you what's actually going on right now in Florida real estate.